A whole bunch of stuff to try to figure out where to watch.
You're good to go.
We are here tonight, Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, 7 o'clock, regular city council meeting. We have everyone here with the exception of Councilmember Ewald, who's going to join us on line here shortly. He said he's going to be a little bit late, so we'll see him when he gets here, I guess. We'll start with a prayer. Looks like, can will you pray for us?
Sure.
Thanks. Pray for us.
Our Father in heaven, as we come before you this evening as staff members and community members and city council, we ask for their guidance in the decisions and discussions that are going to be held. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to live in this city, to be a part of this area. And we're grateful for the many blessings that it brings into our lives. We're very grateful for the moisture that has come to our land over the past few weeks, and ask thee to continue to bless us with that which we stand in need of, that we might be able to sustain ourselves here and prosper and do the things that need to be done. We're grateful for those that serve from our community in the armed forces and for those throughout the world, and ask you to watch over and care for them. We're grateful for all the many blessings that we have, and we say his name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag and the States of America, to the republic
We will take a motion to approve the consent agenda in the minutes from a January 10th meeting.
I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda for tonight, January 24th. And the meeting minutes from the Tuesday, January 10th, 2023 meeting.
Councilmember Bowers and Councilmember Nelson, all in favor?
Why?
All right, that's everyone here. Any conflicts of interest for tonight's agenda? Good. Okay. Public comment. Does anyone want to speak to us tonight? Travis.
Mayor, council. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I've got a little bit of. This is, I had the privilege of going to Winter Fire School this last weekend in St. George. And while I was there, I was able to talk to a couple of fire chiefs. The main fire chief I talked to was from Spanish Fort. These aren't necessarily in order of how I want to talk about them. The first, well, in the middle, you'll see a House bill, number 173, which talks about the situation in which I'm in as firefighter working for the city. And there's also a pamphlet goes into a lot of detail. You'll find looks like this in the papers I hand you. Titled "A Guide for Fire Chiefs and Community Leaders." This was managing volunteer firefighters for FLSA compliance. When I very first got talking with the fire chief, for Spanish Fork, we were in a stress class, like learning how to deal and cope with stress in the fire world, and the instructors wanted to know, like they gave us some play and made us sculpt what our biggest stress was in our life, and I sculpted mine is dealing with what I'm going through right now. And we were supposed to turn to our neighbor and share with them that. And when I did, the fire chief next to me said, "You're kidding me." When I told him that I had to step down from being on the fire department, he's like, "They can't do that. That's illegal." And I said, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll give you documentation to prove it." So that's what this is documentation proving. He said, "We just recently went through all of this. They have 2 guys that work for Power and Light. And I think the 3rd guy works for the Parks and Recs department." And so he said, as long as your normal job duties are totally separate from the fire, then it's not an issue. Which is the case with me. So I asked for you to look that over. I thought it was great information. I felt like it, when I was over there, the stars aligned and I was able to get some answers. The other page there is Spanish Fork's procedures. Like, I got a copy of that thinking, obviously if you guys wanted to adopt it, you tweak it a little bit to fit Lining City, but that's how they worded it, and that's how they're going about doing it correctly.
This is their policy right here?
Yes, that's their policy.
Okay.
So that's all I have at this time. I wanted to share that with you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you, so I've seen this and I've reviewed this, but there's a part of the Fair Labor Standards Act that conflicts with this. Have you put those two together?
This is the documentation that they gave me dealing with this situation. They said this
Fair
is,
Labor and Standard Act.
they said this
right in the
should
middle
be
of
all you need to address the issue. I do have the chief's phone number, because I asked him, I said, would you be willing to take some phone calls from council members? And he said, absolutely.
Actually, I see it right here. I read it. I just didn't put the two together because this is really big. It's a lot longer than what I had originally read, so.
This is.
All right,
this
thank you.
is Still an administrative matter, so I'm happy to reach out to this chief and chat with them. I mean, in looking at this, it is dated, this packet in the back is dated 2006 to 2007, so we're talking several years ago. So, I mean, this is good information. We appreciate it. So,
The House bill is 2019.
yeah.
And I asked them if they knew of anything new, and they said, nope.
So
Because they just recently went through that with 3 of their employees.
Yeah, I think we'll follow through. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay,
Spanish Fort.
yeah. All right, any other public comments?
I'm so sorry, Mayor. What, Spanish Fort?
Fire
Who?
chief,
Fire chief.
the chief, I believe, Hales, let me.
Okay. All right, thank you. I think I can look it up. I just want to make sure it's the fire chief. So,
Okay,
Yeah, Chief Eddie Hales.
perfect.
thank you.
All right, reports. I just, so within the league, I sit on and we within the city sit on the legislative policy committee. With the legislature underway, we'll have meetings weekly to go over just bills and things that are being talked about or being passed that will affect cities. So if any of those come up, we'll let you know. They just barely started. I mean, it's been 2 weeks now, but they had one yesterday and nothing really seems to be catching the league's eye right now that would affect us. But as those
Nice.
come up, not current bills, so. We shared the city, our Facebook and Twitter and social media things, shared a contest essay for kids that they can do through the league as well. So they shared that and that's kind of going on. I think it ends in March, maybe. Anyways, those details are online. Any reports from the council? Okay, city manager report, David.
The only thing outside of what's in the packet is the city general plan. The consultant will be holding a public open house next Tuesday, the 31st, here at City Hall from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. We'll be putting out information, but that same day, the consultant would I'm going to send you a link tomorrow, specific for city council members and staff members to fill out information on your thoughts in different areas for the general plan. A similar survey will be sent out to the public as well. But that consultant would like, in the email that I'll send you will be a link to set up a time that day, earlier in the day, where he would like to meet with each of you one-on-one. Doesn't have to be very long, but just to kind of get your thoughts. And if you can do the survey prior to next week, that would be great. So then they can ask questions about maybe some of your feedback and things. So I'll be sending that out tomorrow. And then likewise, we'll be sending out a survey for the public and announcements about the public open house next week. So that's all I've got.
Would you mind sending a text when you,
Yeah, I
Can you
will.
email that?
Yeah, for sure.
I know to go in and check my email.
I know the feeling. So
Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Any other questions for David on the city manager report there? If not, we'll go with our financial report. Kim,
Hey, the report's in the packet. The council report in there is the midway point in the fiscal year, believe it or not, we're halfway through. All the accounts look to be within budget. Revenues are up, sales tax looks good, and wellness center revenues are actually up about 14% from last year. That's probably due to regular memberships increasing, and also some of our organizations that pay for memberships for their employees at the beginning of fall. They usually come in at that time. Do you have any specific questions on either that report or the invoice register?
Do you know off the top of your head what percentage above we were last year on sales tax? Up where we finished out? Because we finished above last year too, didn't we?
Yeah, we finished above what we budgeted. I don't know right off the top of my head, but this year we're above about 23%
Right.
on the year to date.
Okay. Okay,
And that doesn't, I haven't seen any of the December numbers. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Usually February's sales tax is usually pretty good because it shows all the holiday
yeah,
returns.
okay. Any questions for Kim on the finance report?
No, I'm just saying, I think we said this before, but I really like this layout. I like this report.
Well, they are.
Yeah, it's very easy to follow and understand. And also the minutes were great, exceptional. So thank you so much for always doing a good job on those.
Hey, Terry, public safety, public works.
Madam Mayor, Council, the January 2023 project status report should be in your packets. Gas, water. We're still struggling with the contractor getting a contract signed, so just be aware of that. That's acceptable to the city and to them, and so options are rebid or kind of work through the issues we're having with that contractor, which we've been trying to do, but it's sort of dragging it out.
Contractor for which portion? Which
It's really good.
portion?
Well, sorry.
Okay.
So that's the only project part that we've bid out is the actual well drilling. And so we're working to resolve that. We will keep council updated on that as we move forward. Right now, we don't feel like it's negatively impacting the overall project schedule. So we should be good that way. I mean, we could have some negative impacts from that if it drags out too long.
Do you know why they won't sign the contract?
I think that it's just kind of the nature of the well drilling industry right now. They just don't want to take any risk at all for time or for increase in material costs. We've come to a resolution on the increase on materials costs. We've talked a little bit about that in council and the award was contingent on them giving us the quotes they had from their suppliers, and then we would look at what the actual materials cost and work on that difference with them. But
So does it change their timeline if they wait to sign it?
yeah,
Like it can it can push out our costs because if they sign it later, then it can mean that we could pay more in supply costs.
correct.
We're working to negotiate that essentially is what I'm
Yeah.
saying because
And it's just been a struggle with them, and they just don't really want to bend or flex, and so they're really not responsive to what we ask for in the contract. I mean, we have the ability to just move forward and rebid the project, but that could possibly introduce delay too. So we're just trying to work out the best way to get the well drilled as soon as possible at the lowest cost. And so we'll keep working.
How long do you think we wait before we rebid?
Not much longer.
that's exactly what we're discussing. If
Yeah.
that's.
And so it's good. What Jones and Mills been, we had a couple bidders, or at least one bidder that wasn't able to participate because they missed the mandatory pre-bid. And so we're trying to kind of evaluate their interest in bidding if we were to re-advertise. We don't want to re-advertise and get no bids, or just get the one bid that was 3 million or whatever. And so
What's the timeline? I can't talk tonight. What's the timeline on rebidding? Like, how long do we have to keep it open for?
to meet our procurement policy, we could probably 2 weeks, which it wouldn't be real long that way, and then you got the whole process of bid opening and council award and all that stuff. I mean, it'd take a couple months to rebid it with the whole schedule, before we could have it awarded. So anyway, that's not the best news, but we're working on it, and I think we'll come to a resolution that'll work. Streets project, we're still planning on that for this 2023 year. The AMI project, we've got some of the equipment we've received is on site. They're kind of finalizing the design as far as, we'll have like 300 meters spread out around the city, and then some collectors and repeaters, and just finalizing the locations for that equipment. And so that project should heat up this next month in February quite a bit as they complete the design. Natural gas master plan, Chas and I have been working on that quite a bit, with the consultant. The model is complete, functions, has not been calibrated. We're measuring pressures with pressure recorders, various locations around the system. Which is perfect timing right now with, we're hitting our peaks with the cold temperatures and people are really using gas. And so those pressure inputs they help us calibrate the model. So we make sure we're running that correctly. We anticipate that we'll be done mid-February, kind of recording those pressures, and then we'll work with Williams Gas to get peak day and hourly peaks on the gas flow coming into our system. And those are also inputs that go into the model. So things are going well on the gas master plan. And then just a quick UAMPS update, the different projects, still solar, we're still planning for end of third quarter, first to fourth quarter for the commercial operation date on that project. San Juan project, the decommissioning is continuing down there. It kind of looks like a resolution has been found with City of Farmington, in the lawsuit that they filed, and I think that's going to go away. And so that will be good news. We don't need a lengthy legal battle or costs that way. CFPP, we've had quite a bit of discussion last week on that. The NextEra Zion, again, that's the solar project over in Iron County. And there's also a battery storage component to that one. And that's just a study projects that we may participate in. And then the same with the natural gas. I think I've mentioned to council that they're studying that. They have a consultant and kind of looking at the best, cheapest way to generate power with natural gas and what that might look like for UAMPS as a whole, whether it's a member internal generation, whether we put a gas generator right here in the landing and our system load and some of the other UAMPS members that way, or if it's a combined cycle plant, one plant, one location that serves many of the UAMPS cities. So that's being studied. Any questions on that? Or any other on the project? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our business items tonight. Our first one is resolution 1/24/2023-1, the Wellness Center retrofit assignment order.
Hey, your council is pretty straightforward. This is, we signed an order for Jones and DeMille basically to move forward with the design portions of retrofitting the wellness center. And once they have that, then we can go out to bid on projects and get the actual hard price for construction, if that makes sense. So, are there any questions on this?
I do not have any.
We get this done, how soon can we beat a bid?
Probably within a couple of months. The real question is it going to be feasible to do it before the season starts? And so that's what we're trying to push
Does
for.
the season ever end?
Well, with the swim season is what I'm referring to. You're right. The facility is used year round, but the swim season is really what we're trying to push for. So that'll depend on how that RFP process goes and what we receive.
Well, let's hope for a smooth one.
Well, at least we can have water to fill it up this year.
There you go.
Can we store water in that system
Sure.
to use it later?
Sure.
See if we can just scoop these mounds into something.
So this resolution, we're basically approving the budget impact.
Well, you're approving the assignment order, which is these budget numbers that you see here is the cost of that assignment order to do the architectural design and everything to prepare for the RFP.
Okay.
And what I detailed in here is 10,000 the city council already approved previously.
Right.
And so the remaining cost for all design involved is that 41,650 right now. for the project as a whole. And just as to recall, this is being funded by city capital savings and the CIB, and we won't close on the CIB funding until we get the bid hard construction numbers. And then we close on it because we'll know what that amount should be.
So is this within the, I don't
It
remember,
is
it's
within
within the budget that we
It
originally
is in that
discussed?
budget. As an FYI, if for some reason the bids come in really high, CIB has a process where we can go in and amend our request to increase loan and grant amount, which they usually do proportionally, is what they explained to me.
So the architecture design portion is coming in what was previously budgeted. What we
previously have
had
discussed. Yeah, exactly.
So we're making a change to the budget to adjust for that 41,000.
No, we're not making a change to the budget. This is part of that
Just
overall.
the paperwork that has to have a name change.
Exactly, yeah.
I move that we support resolution 01-24-2023-4.
I'll second it.
Okay, that's Councilmember Grover and Councilmember Bowers. Any questions on the motion? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is Councilmember Ewald on, or is he not? there yet?
He is not on this.
All right, so that's a go from everyone here. Our next one is resolution 1/24/2023-2, the CFPP continuation resolution. Terry.
Hey, Mayor and Council, the resolution is in the packet. It's what we talked about in our last meeting, and so we brought the continuation resolution. We felt like as staff that council was directing us to go that, that was kind of the direction we wanted to go. And so we have that resolution here and recommend that council approve resolution number 01-24-2023-2. And so that would, we would continue in the project at our entitlement of 2.5 megawatts. And that's kind of an approval to move until in January of 24 with the project.
Any questions for Terry on this one?
Well explained. So I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 01-24-2023. Approving the continuation of the participants' entitlement share under the carbon-free power project power sales contract for phase 1D of the licensing period for the carbon-free power project and related matters.
I'm second.
That's Councilmember Bowers and Councilmember Gosser. Any questions on the motion? If there's none, then all in favor?
Aye.
And not on there still? Chris isn't?
No.
Okay. Any need for a closed session?
Here I have another information item.
Yeah.
If I could.
Yeah, no,
Is
yeah.
now okay?
Yes, it's good now.
Council should have received an Eventbrite ticket for the natural gas meeting for public officials next Tuesday night out at the Arts and Events Center. Some of you have been to that before. We do that annually as part of our public awareness program, but there'll be a dinner and, there'll be information for public officials, emergency responders. And so it'd be great if you could attend, and that ticket should have been emailed to you, and so you can download it and come out.
I think I just deleted it.
What's Eventbrite?
Just FYI, that did end up falling on the same night that we're doing our public open house for the general plan, but the public open house is 4 to 8, and I believe this goes
5:30 to 7.
Yeah,
probably.
something like that. So,
And you could come out to the dinner and do the first part of it, and then if you needed to leave for the open house or something too, I'm sure.
And they
that-
typically do the dinner first, and then they have a little bit of a training, if I remember
Yeah.
right. I
the
mean,
very first thing is like vendors and stuff, right? And then
It
did.
is, but it's heavily geared towards emergency responders, and so we invite government officials, but I mean, the training, as far as you guys are board members over emergency response and all that, it's a good thing, but it's not critical. But we'd love to have you come out and support the gas company.
Thank you.
All right. I did remember a closed session item that I had forgotten. Just an update on possible litigation. So if I could get a
Make a motion to move from leave closed session and go into
Leave regular session.
Switch that.
whatever.
all of the things, whatever we need to do, let's go into
Whatever the
closed
first
session.
needs to be, let's do it.
All right, that's Councilmember Grover. Do we have a second?
Yeah, got a second.
Councilmember Gosser, all in favor?
I
All right.